Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahudash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth to rule well. I'm going to be going into a couple things, the Fountain of Youth and the Golden City, El Dorado, which are true things. They call them myths, which in this lifetime, in this present world, it is a myth. All right. But according to scripture, it's a real thing, So let me start off at John 4 and 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Yahweh Shai, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahweh Shai saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, ask to drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Yahweh Shai answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of the Most High, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked him, and he would have given thee living water. All right, now that living water is a type of water, all right, for the spirit. That living water is the words of life, which is this truth. It says, The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou the living water? All right. So this woman is not an Israelite. All right. This woman is not an Israelite. And that's why she didn't get it. All right. She went straight to the physical and the right now. But Yahweh Shai was not talking about the physical and the tangible things. All right. He was talking about a spiritual thing, which this woman was not going to be able to understand. So it says, Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle? All right, so you had people that called themselves Jews that weren't Jews, that lived in Samaria. They would call themselves to be Jews, but they really aren't. Call themselves to be children of Jacob, but they really weren't. They were mixed around with the real Jews and the real Israelites. That's why Yahweh Shai later on says, Neither in this place nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You have to worship him in spirit and truth. And that's beside the point. But it says, Yahweh Shai answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. All right, of the physical water. Whoever drinks of the physical water, all right, you're going to thirst eventually again, But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. All right. That's where the fountain of youth came along. People thinking of, this type of well, this type of water that comes and, keeps you young forever. That's a physical, tangible thing that Esau, Edom, and the wicked thought about, because they're not being spiritual. The Lord was spiritual, and he spoke spiritually. It said, The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yahweh Shai said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahweh Shai said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou hast is not thy husband, in that saidst thou truly. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yahweh Shai said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh, when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. You see? So, this water is a spiritual thing, man. This truth is a spiritual thing. All right? And the Most High said he was going to pour down doctrine, all right, as the rain, all right? Because this truth, this doctrine is likened as to water. So to prove that, let me actually go over here to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, 7 and 40? No. It's actually 24. Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, it was 7. Oh, Salakia. I was thinking of this. Let me get this one too, and then I'll go to one in Sirach. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and 22. For wisdom, which is a worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only, manifold, all right, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passes and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. All right? So she is moving than any motion. All right? So let's go to Sirach, chapter 24. And we'll go down to, start at verse 22. He that obeyeth me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not do amiss. All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High, even the law which Moses commanded for a heritage unto the congregation of Jacob. Faint not to be strong in the Lord, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto him, for the Lord Almighty is God alone, and beside him there is no Savior. He filleth all things with wisdom, as the Sion and the Tigris in the time of new fruits. He maketh the understanding to abound like the Euphrates, and as Jordan in the time of the harvest. All right, now these are all rivers. He maketh the doctrine and knowledge appear as the light, and as the Gihon in the time of vintage. The first man knew her not perfectly, no more shall the last find her out. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. I also came out as a brook from a brook from the river, and as a conduit into a garden. I said, I will water my best garden, and I will water abundantly my garden bed. And lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. All right, so the wisdom was abound. So wisdom is likened unto water. Verse 32. And also the best garden would be Israel. All right. The best garden is Israel. Because the Most High created all the nations. But Israel is his best garden. It says, verse 32. I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. All right, so this wisdom is likened unto water. You see? That's the motion, that's the water that Yahushua is talking about. And this woman wasn't spiritual enough to understand that and perceive that. All right, she wasn't an Israelite. So that's why Yahushua said, you don't know who you worship. We know who we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. So from there, let me go to Revelations 21, and I'll start off at. Let me start off at 2. And I'm just gonna read down. It says Revelations 2:21 and 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. All right. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their God. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he sat up on the throne and said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. All right. So it says a fountain of water. And up here it says shall be no more death. All right. So that's another part, that Esau, Edom looked and said, yo, this fountain must be true. It must be here somewhere, to stay young forever, to not see death, to not see pain, to cure you, because Yahushua had said, he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. All right. So, people think that there's a fountain of water of life, the fountain of youth. They think it's out there, man, not knowing that it's a spiritual thing. All right. Not everybody can get it. So this is the fountain of youth myth origin. All right. And I call it a myth because it's not, in the sense that they think it is. It says the legend became particularly prominent in the 16th century when it was attached to Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon, first governor of Puerto Rico. All right. And those Puerto Ricans are Israelites. It says Ponce de Leon was supposedly searching for the fountain of youth when he traveled to Florida in 1513. All right, so that fountain of youth, man, people think it's a literal thing. You had Jake back then in Europe. All right, when they were in rulership, they left behind certain things. When Edomites came in, you also had a lot of Jakes that work with Edomites, in the Renaissance period. But when Esau came in, all right, he took some of those things and they went after it and they followed after it. That's why they knew about the Native Americans here in what now is called America, all right, which was Arsareth, simply meaning another land where no man had ever dwelt. And that's why the natives are called natives, all right, because they're the firstborn here, So they had that movie come out where they mentioned Ezra, all right, about another land, that's in Ezra's 13. I'm just going to go to it for edification's sake. It was 2 Ezra's 13 and 41. That says, But they took counsel among themselves, all right, being Israel, the northern kingdom, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, where they never kept their in their which they never kept in their own land. All right. So when you go up here, it says, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. That other land is talking about where they served their captivity. All right. That's why verse 41 says, "But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen." All right. So they went from that other land into another land. All right. It says, verse 43, "And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them." All right. The stars, the moon. All right. The so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel. There's signs in heaven that the Most High showed them. All right, because it was meant to happen for them to come over here to the Americas, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arzareth. Now, if you know anything about the slave trade, all right, whenever they would go, the reason supposedly why Christopher Columbus wanted to travel west to go to India is because of how long it would take to go around Africa, which is namely around a year and some. So it was about a year that they had to travel to go around Africa. About a year that they had to travel, in order to get to India. So from India around Africa, again, is around a year. And then from Africa to the Americas was the rest of the way. It says, "For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arzareth." So by sea, all right, they traveled because the Most High stood the flood, or the waters, so that they can travel. And the reason why it's called Pacific Ocean, all right, is because it's peaceful. So the Atlantic Ocean is a pretty crazy ocean. The Pacific is called Pacific because it means peaceful. So the Atlantic slave trade is in the Atlantic Ocean, all right, which the oceans are wild, man. The waters are crazy. So it says, so that makes sense right there, that they had to go through the Atlantic. It says, "The high, then dwelt they there until the latter time." All right, and that latter time, vocab would say, till, a little later on, and then this, and that, but that's not what that means. That latter time is talking about the end. All right. Same thing in Genesis 49. It says latter time, talking about the end. It says, "And now they shall begin to come." To come where? Back to the Most High. You see? It says, "The highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace." So Israel, all right, the northern kingdom, the majority of them came to the Americas. It says, so you had Israelites ruling after the fall of Rome. Israelites ruled over, and then the bit of knowledge that they left behind, the Edomites try to pick back up on. So they had some things that were scattered. So that fountain of youth is really talking about Yahweh Shai and the Word. So that's where they got that fountain of youth from, which is in the scriptures. So going back to Revelations 21, verse 7, it says, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers, and idolaters, and the liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." Which is what? The ICBM. All right? Third World War. Burned with missiles. It says, "And there came unto me one of the seven angels," all right, because there's seven chief angels. It says, "which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride and the Lamb's wife." All right, and those 7 angels are the ones that are in charge of taking the prayers of the saints up to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, you know. It says, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from the Most High, having the glory of the Most High, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had great walls and high, and 12 gates, and the 12 gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. You see? So the kingdom of heaven has the names of Israel, you know. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. All right, which represents the 12 gates for the 12 tribes. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he talked with me, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with a reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length of the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was a jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundation of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, and the ninth topaz, and the 10th chrysoprasus, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th an amethyst. The 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of 1 pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. All right, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to go back to verse 21. So this is, did natives ever talk about the golden city? All right, and it says here, which Spaniard first heard rumors of the 7 cities of gold? All right, so that 7, all right, represents again the 7, the 7 angels. That number 7 represents completion. Like in the book of Isaiah, 7 women shall cleave unto 1 man. That just means completion. All right, completion of women will cleave unto 1 man. It says the cities of gold. All right, so it says here coronado, which means crowned in English. All right, while among the towns, Coronado heard an additional rumor from a native he called the Turk, that there was a city with plenty of gold called Quivera, located on the other side of the Great Plains. All right, so that's really what started the golden city, and from there, they talked about more golden cities and this and that. But here it says, it goes through brief history talking about the golden city. It's actually talking about the golden one. All right, but Esau, Edom going into, the European, which is the bottomless pit, they went into how, there is a golden city out there and they're trying to find it. It says the place where Dorado was supposed to be kept changing as one expedition after another failed to find it. At first, it was supposed to be in the north, somewhere in the Andean highlands. Then once the area had been explored, it was believed to be in the foothills of the Andes to the east. Several expeditions failed to find it there. When searches of the Orinoco Basin, Venezuela plains failed to turn it up, the explorers thought it had been in the mountain of Guyana. It even appeared in Guyana on maps printed in Europe. All right, they didn't think it was in Africa. They didn't think it was somewhere under the water. They thought it was in the Americas, man, because this land was so rich. It was given unto the children of Israel. And the Israelites knew about the golden city. But that golden city wasn't a physical thing, you know. This is the book of Tobit. Tobit chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, well, let me start off at 15. It says, let my soul bless Yahweh the great king, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone, thy walls and thy towers and battlements with pure gold. All right, so it's talking about the golden city. All right, and really, what is that golden city, man? It's the elect. You know, the elect really are that golden city. You know, it's not really, you know, there is going to be a literal golden city, you know, which is Jerusalem, you know, the kingdom of heaven. But that golden city really is the elect, you know, the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's really the golden city, you know. So let me see if I could find this. Let me go to Tobit again, but it's in chapter 8. Tobit 8 and 16. Thou art to be praised, for thou hast made me joyful, and that is not come to me which I suspected. But though that, Salakia, it was actually 14, came forth and told them that he was alive. All right, Tobit 8 and 15. Then Raguel praised the Most High and said, O power, thou art worthy to be praised with all pure and holy praise. Therefore, let thy saints praise thee with all thy creatures, and let all thine angels and thine elect praise thee forever. All right. So really, it's about the elect, you know. So back at Tobit, Tobit 13. And 16, it says, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone, thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold. All right, so that golden city, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that were left behind by the Israelites that ruled in the Dark Ages. All right, there was a lot of things that were left behind, and what Esau Edom did was corrupted it. All right, because he doesn't understand it. You know, now the elites, they know the truth. You know, they know that the kingdom of heaven is up, you know, is being built up right now. You know, they understand these things now, and that's how they try to hide it. You know, but back then, they were barely coming into their power, man. You know, they were trying to find all these things that they thought were out there, you know. That's why now you don't have these elites, these major leaders of the world out there looking for El Dorado or the Fountain of Youth, you know. You don't think that David Rockefeller would have tried to find it, you know, when he had, you know, his first heart transplant, you know. So it says, let me see, where am I? Thy walls and thy towers and battlements with pure gold, and the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir, and all her streets shall say, Hallelujah, and they shall praise him, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, which hath extolled it forever. All right, so they were looking for that city, man, but that city was nowhere to be found. Why? Because it was a spiritual thing, and it's going to be given to the spiritual, you know. So actually, let me go back to John 4 and let me finish that one off. John 4 and 22. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. and in truth. All right. And what did the ancients call? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see, what did the ancient natives call God? The Great Spirit is the conception of a universal spiritual force, supreme being or God, and is known as a Wakan Tanka among the Sioux, Gitche in Algonquian, and many Native American, excluding the Alaskan, the Alaskan Native and Native Hawaiians. You see that? And Aboriginal Canadian, especially First Nations people. But he was known as the Great Spirit, with a capital S. And right here you see it too. Verse 24, the Most High is a spirit. All right, he's the Great Spirit. He's the Father Spirit. And they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. You see? It says, the woman saith unto me, I know that the Messiah cometh, which simply means anointed, all right, which is called Christ. All right, he's not called Christ, He's called Yahawashi, but he is the anointed. When he come, he will tell us all things. Yahawashi said unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. All right, so Yahawashi is the truth, So when we go back to Revelations 21, in verse 21, it says, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls, every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Almighty, all right, which means Alashadya, which is the fearful power. The Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it, you see. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. All right, so there's still going to be a sun and there's still going to be a moon. But we wouldn't need those things because Yahweh Shem Yahushai would be our light. All right, that's what it's talking about. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor unto it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. All right, so not every nation is going to be saved, but all nations will bow down to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, So only the elect of Israel are going to be saved, and the rest are going to be put into captivity, But they will all bow down to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The same thing that Tobit said. He prophesied about these things, man. And Tobit really believed the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I might make this in another video. Let me see. It was 14. Tobit 14 and 5. Tobit 14 and 5. And that again the Most High will have mercy on them and bring them again into the land where they shall build a temple, but not like unto the first, until the time of that age be fulfilled. All right, so when the second temple was built, man, people were happy, of course, but what Tobit is prophesying here is about the third temple, or not Tobit, but in the book of Tobit, it's a prophecy of the third temple. You see, it says, and that again the Most High will have mercy on them and bring them again into the land, which is who? The Israelites, all right, the north and southern kingdom, where they shall build a temple, but not like the first, all right, until the time of that age be fulfilled. And afterward they shall return from all places of their captivity, you see, and build up Jerusalem gloriously, which is how? Spiritually, by the word, all right, by this message that we, put out. And the house of the Most High shall be built in it forever with glorious buildings, as the prophets have spoken thereof. and all nations shall turn and fear Yahweh the Most High truly, and shall bury their idols. So shall all nations praise the Most High, and his people shall confess the Most High. You see, so he's separating the nations. All right, the angel separating the nations and his people, which are Israel. And the Lord shall exalt his people, and all those which love the Lord Yahweh in truth and justice shall rejoice, showing mercy to our brethren. Who are their brethren? The Israelites. All right. And now my son, depart out of Nineveh. Oh yeah, it was Tobit that was saying this. You know, the angel prophesied too, but it was Tobit that prophesied. But he said, and now my son, depart out of Nineveh, because of those things which the prophet Jonas spake shall surely come to pass. All right, Jonas said that Nineveh was going to fall in certain days, and it didn't. All right, so Jonas was mad, you know. But that's for another video, you know. But it says, but keep thou the law and the commandments, and show thyself merciful and just, that it may go well with thee, you know. So, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to have mercy on everyone, all right, but he's going to exalt his people, which is Israel. So I hope that was edifying. And with that, I want to say Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bahasham Rakakundash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.